Hey, about 2 years ago, 2014, Conestoga introduced a new door design called the Savannah, which is the one I have here. And all it is a step down. The framing bead is perfectly flat. So you come across your framing, you step down about 1/4 of an inch, come across about 5/8 of an inch, and then step back down to the panel. People were really liking this flat framing bead kind of look. I want to talk you through some limitations to the design, things to be aware of, and then talk you through a new version of it that just came out called the Crawford. So on this Savannah door, they make it two different ways. One is where this joint here in the corner runs straight up and down. So I'm not sure you can see it, but where this piece of framing and this piece of framing come together, it's a straight up and down joint. And the other is a mitered, where that comes across as a diagonal, which is a little more expensive. The limitations here, the things people are getting themselves into with this door is they're ordering it with paint, which is fine. We're doing a lot of painted doors. But when you order this door with paint, you have to realize that this is solid wood, this is solid wood, this is going to move, expand, and contract, and that joint, unlike the one up here, can't be sanded perfectly smooth, and it can move. So if you take paint and you add glaze to it, that joint is going to stick out or stand out or be visible. It's not going to be perfectly smooth like an MDF one-piece door would be. I strongly, strongly encourage you, if you're considering the Savannah door design, or the Crawford, with a paint or a paint and a glaze, order a sample door. Go one step beyond the sample block and order a sample door so you can get comfortable with what may or may not be present in here. We've had some people say, hey, I thought that was going to be perfectly smooth, just like my door up here. They can't palm sand or run this through a cross grain sander to get rid of that like they can here. So it's not a Conestoga failure. They're doing the best they can, but this door does not lend itself well to paint. Now, Jim's holding a door, the new one called the Crawford that just came out in winter of 2016. It's the same door, same concept, but the framing bead area is about 1/2 as big, maybe even less than that, 1/3 as big. So it gives you a much smaller step, much smaller shoulder, less visibility of anything that gathers in that groove. So that might be the one to think about if you're thinking of doing paint on one of these flat framing bead doors. Still order a sample. I cannot stress that enough, still order a sample. I also would suggest if you're doing paint, spring a little more and get the M&T version, or the mitered version rather. This one again is straight up and down. Get the one that comes in at an angle. It looks a little more appropriate. It just looks like the door is built correctly, almost like our Madison door or some of those where this framing area is haunched in, and that's the way framing beads normally come together, is at an angle. So it's, I want to say $5 or $6 per door more maybe, but I think it's a good investment if you're doing paint to get that haunched, angled miter, and your sales rep can talk you through that. Can you think of anything I'm missing, Jim?
No, I agree though. The miter, the MT option on the Savannah is definitely I think the way to go. For the extra money, it's worth that expense.
Yeah.
But this new door I think is going to be a more popular sell. It's a similar look, but it's just a little narrower, so I think this is probably going to be
it's a little crisper, and if you do end up adding glaze, it looks better to have the glaze gathered kind of close together than this big expanse between. So some of this stuff, both Conestoga and those who sell it like us are learning as we go, and I think when this door first released, they sold a ton of it, and the sales kind of dropped off, and then they brought this door out because they're trying to address some of the shortfalls with the Savannah. So again, order a sample, talk it through with your sales rep, but we hope this video at least illustrates some of what you're going to get with these flat framing bead doors. Thanks for watching.